Hey YouTube, Michael Iga here. I'm sick today, so I thought I'd review the new Strokes album, Comedown Machine. Let's get started. The first song on the album is called Tap Out. It starts with a really weird kind of a grungy guitar solo. And it's strange because it doesn't fit the rest of the song very well, which is a lot more dancey than the Strokes' normal stuff would be. It kind of is dancey because of the boost in the bass that the song has. The song in general is very catchy. It has a nice vocals blend, and it has really cool transitions to it. Now, the song itself is a great intro to the album because it tells you where the album's going. It has the classic rock guitar solo, and a grungy guitar intro solo. But also it has all these new instruments and the falsetto that Julian brings in, which is what most of the album is going to be. But the little splashes of rock in there, in the song, are also incorporated in the little splashes of rock songs in the album itself. The second track on the album is called All the Time. I really don't think that they should have used the song as one of their singles because it's very uncreative sounding. It does sound more like what the Strokes normally have, and Is This It? But it just sounds like something that could have been in the album, but it just wasn't good enough to be in it. I feel like the drums were very uncreative in general. I thought the chorus was kind of annoying and very repetitive. And also it sounds like Julian doesn't even really care what he's singing when he sings it. The one thing I do like about the song, though, is the guitar solo it has. The third track on the album is One Way Trigger. If you want to know a lot more about it, I did an individual review on the song. It's very experimental sounding with the strange synth it has and these falsettos that Julian's using mixed in with his normal vocals. It also has a muted guitar sound, which is different for the Strokes. I really love the chorus in this song. It sounds very emotional when Julian's singing it. It doesn't have the best solo, but it's pretty catchy, and I really like the lyrics. The next track's called Welcome to Japan. Like Tap Out, it's very much more dancey than what the Strokes normally have. It does have a little bit of a bass boost, but that's not really the reason why it's dancey. It has the classic kick drum to the hi-hat to snare to hi-hat dance kind of a rhythm in it, which makes it more dancey. I love the guitar part that kicks in the pre-chorus, but the guitar part in the chorus itself is really weird. It kind of sounds like a second voice almost. The chorus in general is very soothing, and the guitar solo is kind of chill, which kind of relates to the genre of the song. It's more new wave and not very much garage rock. I also thought that some of the commentary lyrics after the chorus were kind of funny, not very serious. I thought some of the sound effects were interesting, but they didn't really fit in well with the song. And the last thing I thought about the song was that it used the mood changes really well to help the build-ups. It really reminds me a lot of Killing Lies from First Impressions of Earth, especially the synth part and the tone of it. Again, it's very experimental like the rest of the album. There's all these weird different sounds in it. There's this really strange kind of distorted guitar thing in the chorus, which I didn't like at all. There was a light transition in the song in the second half, which I enjoyed. And in general, the song was pretty hypnotic sounding, especially the vocals. There's not really much to be said about the title track of the song, 80s Comedown Machine, other than it's really just kind of like the metabolism of the album. It's very much more heavy and rock oriented than the rest of the album, which is more new wave. I thought the guitars were just awesome, but the chorus I also found was really bitter and rebellious sounding, which I didn't really like. Next track, Slow Animals, I thought was pretty cool. It's mellow, but not as mellow as 50/50, and it has pretty cool guitar riffs in it. I really like how both Albert Hammond Jr. and Julian are singing. At least I'm pretty sure it's Albert, because you hear someone else singing with Julian as he falsettos. I really thought the pre-chorus was awesome, but the regular chorus was only kind of so-so. I definitely thought the drums should have been more creative. They should sound a lot more alive in the chorus. I understand how it's kind of mellow in the verses, but when the chorus it picks the song up, the drums aren't really there to help it pick up with the beats. There was another weird kind of distorted guitar solo thing, which I thought was alright. Partners in Crime is going to be the weirdest track on this album. It starts off with this sci-fi kind of sound and turns into this dreamy thing with a broken record playing kind of sounding snare hit, which makes it sound like Julian's keeps thinking the same thing in his head, but it's really weird. I found that there was a lot more emotion in Julian's singing on this track than a lot of the other tracks in the album. And it's really weird if you listen to it, you kind of, I kind of got this, what am I listening to? What's he talking about kind of thing, but it's not necessarily a bad thing because it gets you interested in it and it makes it stand out. I did like the song Chances, but I thought that the bass line was lacking. It really sounds to me like it should have this swing bass kind of feel to it, but just not there. And I could hear the swing bass playing in my head, but it's not there. Like Welcome to Japan, there's a synth in the chorus that sounds like a second voice. It complements Julian kind of well, but it also sounds weird. The drum part and the verses weren't that good, but in the chorus I really liked them. It really reminded me throughout of an Is This It kind of a drum. There's also an interesting little part with the tambourines that they added. I'm not really sure why. It's only there for maybe a few measures. The song is very fun and energetic, but it's also strange at the same time. I like the chorus, but I thought that the guitar solo at the end was very abrupt and should have just been a few measures longer. Happy Ending is easily one of my favorite tracks on the album. It sounds like they took something that could have been on Is This It, and they remixed it with all these new instruments and sounds that they have to make something that sounds totally different, totally new kind of a Strokes sound, and I think they did it really well. I really love the chorus. I think that the guitarist and the sing are very poppy and fun. Like Chances, though, it does have an abrupt ending, which I didn't like that much. The last track, Call It Fate, Call It Karma, is also a really strange sound to it. It has these pizzicatoed instruments and an upright bass, actually, which gives it kind of a dreamy feel, but it complements Julian's voice really well. To me, it sounds kind of like something that would be in an old black and white movie. I'm not really sure why. In general, I thought the album was pretty good, but I thought it felt more like an experiment than an album. I still thought it had a lot of really good individual songs, but they didn't really fit together very well. My favorite tracks were Happy Ending, Welcome to Japan, and One Way Trigger, and my least favorite tracks, definitely All the Time. I think I'd give this album a 6.5 to maybe a light 7. Probably a little biased because I like the Strokes a lot. But tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Did you like it? What were your favorite tracks? Make sure to like this review if you thought it was good. Alright, see you later, YouTube.